Originally from Western Pennsylvania and now living in Ithaca, New York, Rev Ezra released his first solo album titled These Days on May 6, 2022. The song Strange Winds on that album is currently featured on the Indie Bluegrass Spotify editorial playlist. His music is born from being on the road and dealing with changing circumstances. These Days was born mainly from one specific road trip in Rev's stickshift Ford Ranger, passed down to him from his father. A man of many layers, we welcome Rev Ezra to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. I've been a fan of the podcast, so it was very cool when you guys reached out and I got to be a part of it. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just saw you play.
Yes, that was also a blast. Yeah, Leo and the Maydays. Just a kind of stripped down set with the
Yes.
only two Maydays.
Yes.
So
It was actually Leo and the Mayday.
Leo and the
and the
Mayday.
Mayday.
Right?
Yeah.
Singular.
Yeah, and that was like full circle because you guys were the first act that I saw after I moved to Ithaca.
Awesome.
So that was back in September of last year, you know, when we were pretty new, or maybe it's August, September of last year. We were new in town and just saw some live music and, decided to walk in the door.
Yeah, and it was at some coffee shop, right?
Yeah, Greenhouse.
The Greenhouse.
Yep.
It's hard to find parking.
Well, we walked, so.
So, Rev,
Yeah.
tell us about this road trip, because it seems like it was a very pivotal moment in your life, and also as for your career as an artist, this whole album was born out of that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so the road trip, I've been on a lot of road trips in my life, and it's kind of the, my go-to way of clearing my head, and I like to do them alone most of the time. So this one was, basically I had the opportunity right at the end of college. I had gotten a job offer after school, so I just figured, how could I capitalize on not having to, do a ton of classes my last semester. So I took one last class remotely during my final semester of college so that I'd still be considered like a student, and federally subsidized loans wouldn't start to accrue interest until
Right.
afterward. And then I started to plan this road trip. I turned my old Ford Ranger into a tiny home and built like a little wooden bed frame, and I put food underneath it, and I had shelves for my coffee and
Wow.
essentials and toothpaste and all that, and then I had two bins: clean clothes, dirty clothes. I built in some like blinds and everything.
Wow.
So it was, so I ended up spending like 4 months on the road, and I just I never bought a hotel room or anything. I would just stay in trucker stops or Walmart parking lots, which not all Walmart parking lots let you stay there overnight. Some of them have security guards that'll knock on your window and wake you up.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
news
That's
to
a
me.
job.
Yeah.
What do you do? I'm a Walmart security parking lot guy.
Yeah.
I wake up drifters. And then and national parks and national forests and things like that.
Okay.
So I did that. It was my dad's old truck. When he passed away, it became my truck. So it was very,
Wow.
it was like a spirit journey for me almost.
Wow.
A hero's journey.
Yeah. In my own small way, it felt like that.
Yeah. Well,
How long was that? How long?
About 4 months. Yeah.
4 months, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So, any hairy moments?
Oh, there were a few. I left in January because that's just the timing that worked, and I knew that it was unlikely to get just 4 months of unstructured time like that.
Okay.
So I left in January, and it was very cold. The first night was spooky. Do you remember when the government shut down in 2019?
Oh, yeah.
Was that 2019? Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, the 2019 government shut down. So when I went to Shenandoah National Park, which was my first stop, there was no humans there. There was, the bathrooms, the services, the ranger stops, everything was locked. So I spent my first night in Shenandoah National Park, and there was like no one for miles.
Dude.
Wow.
And it was a little spooky, if I'm being honest.
Like, that must have been such a spiritual experience for you too, though, like to be just like out there on your own, nobody's around, and even though it was spooky, maybe there is some spirituality that you're kind of experiencing there. Is that accurate?
I think it was just my first night on the road, and I had never done something like this, like living in the truck, and I think I just spooked myself a little bit,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
But, you know, like I could have swore that when I stepped out, you know, of the truck for just a little bit to like brush my teeth, I thought I heard, you know, like a laughing sound. So I like ran back in the truck and like got in there and locked it. But I don't think that was, I think that was just my,
shadows in your mind.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it got a lot easier than that. That only happened the first night, and then the rest was just smooth sailing. So
Wow, that's amazing. So did you run? You had plenty of money. You had everything kind of worked out, or did
I had to save a lot of money first, and I was also I like made it okay with myself to, you know, like we might, you know, go in the hole a little bit here, and that's okay, you know, because it's very unlikely that I'll ever have the chance at this situation ever again.
Wow.
But yeah, before that, like my last semester, I worked, like a lot. I worked a lot, and then I also finished my classes, and you know, just tighten the belt. So
was it super inspiring?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, being alone with yourself, or you know,
your thoughts.
Yeah. And driving, I would mostly drive when the sun was down because I wanted to see things when the sun was up. Okay. So, you know, that time just like in your own head, you know, I discovered a lot about myself just, you know, having those conversations with myself only.
Not to jump right into this, but what comes first, the self journey or the music journey?
So for me, it was definitely the self journey. All of these songs were written like either partially during or after that trip.
Okay.
I meant to mention, we had just released with my old band, we had just released our first album.
Okay.
And it was literally the next day was the day that I left for the road trip.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I was pretty fresh off of just recording an album. I also recorded another album with another band. I was playing the bass. So,
was that the Lone Pines? Was it the
Lone Pines was the one that they both released an album. Lone Pines had released it, and then 2 days later I left, and I sang and played the acoustic guitar on that. And then I played in a band called Single Joe, and I recorded all my parts and then left. And then that album release happened pretty much as soon as I got back.
So you do this often? Do you just disappear?
I try to.
Your bandmates are like, Josh is gone again.
right?
Yeah, what are we going to do, guys?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm just processing everything that you're saying right now. There's something about being on the road, and it's kind of par for the course if you want to go down this route of being a performing musician. The only way, I guess, to not have to be on the road would be if you like landed a Broadway gig or like a gig where like on a cruise ship where you're still traveling, but like you're playing the same spot every night. But there's something appealing. What do you find appealing about going on those road trips?
I think for me, it's for one, I kind of like that solitary feeling of driving. You know, I feel like I can't be bothered. You know, like something that gets to me a lot is how loud our lives are right now, and how the phones are just like constantly blaring at you. And
we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even when you're trying to really like do something productive, you know, I'll have to put my phone away when I'm working on music or when I'm working on work, you know.
Are you one of those people that never returns texts?
I wish I was better at returning texts, but I do return them.
Okay.
I just sometimes am a little slower than other folks.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm like ridiculous. Like I'm a same day returner.
Are you a reader?
Not as much as I should be, I guess. But
well, there's no should. I mean, it's
that's what it is.
It's just kind of what you do when you can and cannot. And
I read a lot on the road. That's
you did.
Yeah, I read Travels with Charlie, which is by John Steinbeck, when he did a road trip that was the same, very, very similar. He
Interesting.
Turned a pickup truck into a.
So when you write books, I have a lot of friends that write books, and they have what they call companion books that they're writing to help them write books. Was that kind of used that way in any way in your writing?
Oh, so like musically?
Yeah. I mean, for material inspiration, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely. I definitely was focusing on kind of Well, so while I was traveling, I would listen to music that made sense for where I was.
Yeah.
So a lot of that Appalachian folk music was what I started with, because I went from Pittsburgh south, and I was in West Virginia for a long time, and then I was in Kentucky for a bit, and in the Carolinas, and then Tennessee. So I kind of zigzagged around. So in that area, I was listening to Appalachian folk music, which is very much what I would generally listen to, and got a lot of, inspiration from that. Go
ahead. Sorry.
And then like down south was like, Southern rock and like Marcus King and, Gary Clark Jr. and those guys pretty much from like the southeast coast to like Texas.
So to set the precedent for the rest of the podcast, I just want to ask you, do you see yourself as a career musician? Do you see yourself as, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I'm working for that to be viable. That's what the goal is. I've got the 9 to 5, so I'm very much a work by day and musician by night, and that's not what I would want it to be, ideally, but that's where I'm at right now.
I think you share that with a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, that's what this podcast is about.
Perfect.
Trying to find that inspiration, encouragement for people that are just working regular jobs, but focusing on possible career in music.
And we've talked about this whole thing of like being the artist versus being like a sideman, which kind of comes up when, if you want to make music a career and make it a viable path for yourself. From my personal experience, I find it much more difficult if it's me, the artist, wanting to get my stuff out there and people to come see my stuff, versus I'm a guy for hire. I'm the drummer that, can do a lot of different projects and get paid for that. I find that to actually be a slightly easier route to take. And so it's kind of that decision. What do you want to be? Do you want to go that route where it's like you are the talent, you are that artist, it's your material? Or to make it financially viable, do you do those side gigs as a sideman and you take maybe, $200 to $300 a night, which is actually, that would be nice.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty decent.
I'd always take that. Yeah.
But if you can take that and do those other gigs as well, and so you're doing your stuff, but you're also doing projects with other people to help them out.
Yeah, so you prefer the latter.
I like the side, man. Yeah, let the artist do all the work, and I'll just jump in and make them sound good. That's sort of my philosophy.
Yeah. The session man.
The
too,
session,
right?
And not to say that that's easy to do, but to me, if I between those two things of being the artist and being the sideman, it's like the sideman seems to offer more variety and also just more options for making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say too that songwriters kind of set the road open, for that role. We were talking earlier in a podcast and how songwriters are these mystical people that don't ever stop writing songs, and it's kind of annoying because we just want to play the last album, but you guys are on to the next album.
Yep. Before it's even recorded.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we just got this last album done. Are we going to play that stuff? And it's like, I got this new song, right? But without that, what would we do? Right.
Jam band.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. They're fun.
Jam band.
Yeah.
Let's get into another thing here, Rev. So I read something on your website, and I want to read it for the whole world. You said here that, all in all, my goal as a songwriter is to tell honest stories and to put all the common yet hard to grasp emotions into words with the hopes that folks can relate. In everything I do, I want to be genuine, and this album is no exception. So to me, this really fits into like the theme of From the Vine and what we're doing here, creating this forum for local musicians and regional musicians, is the value that you bring. And actually, you had come to us about that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about, like, you heard the podcast
with Rachel.
With Rachel.
Yeah.
And you said, man, it really made me think about what I bring in terms of value as an artist. What am I bringing to the venue? What am I bringing to people? So when I saw that you wrote this on your website, I'm like, yeah, okay, like, you've clearly been thinking about this.
I have been thinking about that. Yeah, I think what I was getting at with that is I'm not and I don't strive to be the untouchably cool musician. I don't have any delusions about that for myself. I know I write honest songs, and I write things that I want people to be able to relate to. And I want people to hear it. That's it. I'm just an honest guy. I work. I have a day job, like a lot of folks, and I'm not trying to lie to people.
You're like the perfect new Vine candidate for this podcast.
Awesome.
I gotta say.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just not trying to lie to anyone. So all the songs are meant to be just really honest stories about, and again, while I was on the road, I'm just in my own head thinking about, the meaning of why I'm doing certain things, and why did I choose whatever career path, and, what is it about music that makes me want to continue to write it and create it. So that's pretty much what the album is about. It's about wanting to be on the road all the time. And wanting to like just write music, but being stuck in this world where I have to make enough money to pay my bills.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great struggle.
It's the struggle.
I think though the struggle is the beauty of that. And
how poetic.
Yeah. Are we going to write a song?
I got to be honest.
Let's do it.
I'm feeling the vibe. It's just pouring in here. Some of that mystical songwriting goo is falling on me.
The mystical creatures, the songwriters.
Hey,
we got too many damn songwriters on this show.
Jeez, man.
No more mystical.
I just learned how to play the last song. Anyway. So what do you think about the Ithaca scene? I mean, you've moved here. You've had a little time to take it in. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I love it here, man. The scene is super supportive. Coming from Pittsburgh, which is also a really great scene, but Pittsburgh's a sports town, and sports come first.
Yep.
And something I've noticed about Ithaca is it's an arts town, and people want art first.
Yeah, we don't do sports here.
Yeah, there's no teams.
not on like the professional.
It's the only place I've ever felt at home because I hate talking about sports, man. I just.
Fair enough. But not a sports guy?
I've never been. All my friends, stats guys in sports, everything. Fantasy football, I can't do it.
I'm a huge sports guy.
Oh, damn.
I'm a huge sports guy.
NBA?
NFL mostly.
Okay.
There's in Pittsburgh, we don't have an NBA team. So I grew up mostly on football, hockey, baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, no.
Josh.
but music comes first, right?
Yeah, okay.
I can catch the
good.
Steelers on TV.
Okay.
You know what I mean? On Sundays.
Did you play sports?
I was a swimmer in high school.
All right.
And I played baseball growing up, like a lot of kids, but I really dove into swimming. No pun intended.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he got that. David Engineering caught that.
We'll throw in something in post, like a little drum thing.
A splash of water.
A splash of water, that could be good. But yeah, I swam because I liked swimming because you could just train really hard and there was no dispute, about like who gets the position on the relay or anything like that. It's like the 4 fastest and the ones who train hard, so there was no like coach's son bias or anything like that.
Well, I played sports for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
For girls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Same reason I played guitar.
Yeah, right.
But then I was like, I like guitar.
Well, that's what's interesting about music too. And I mean, it's not only in the Ithaca scene, but it's any music scene.
Sure.
There's a certain point to which you can get, really good at your instrument. Mm-hmm. But then once you reach that point, it doesn't matter how much. To me, this is going to open a can of worms.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Open it.
Open that can of worms.
I have observed that you can reach a certain level of mastery of your instrument.
Yes.
Albeit it's got to be a fairly high level. Mm-hmm. But when you reach it, it does not matter how much better you get from that point. It will not help you get that festival spot. It will not help you get booked more. Once you reach that certain level, and you could even be a little below it, it's not like sports. Mm-hmm. It's very much like, who do you know? Mm. Are you likable? Mm. Are you easy to work with?
Says the guy who's playing in almost every band in town right now.
Yeah. Just saying.
What you're saying is, I'm really likable.
I think he just did.
Well, I'm just... for like those listening, for the people listening, it's like, continue to get great at your instrument.
Yeah,
sure.
But in this scene, there are so many other factors. You cannot just be good at your instrument.
Right.
There's more to the puzzle is what I'm saying. So all those guys out there who are like, man, I practice 8 hours a day. And like, I'm like, I could run circles around these guys who are playing all these gigs.
Don't
like,
say that.
Why don't they book me? Why don't they book me? And it's like,
that's why.
The hard,
exactly.
yeah, but
exactly.
That's also why.
What you just said.
But it's a hard truth. It's a hard truth where like, there's other, and this is what you were saying, like that road trip for you was about, first and foremost, it was a life experience and a life journey. And the music just came out of that. It wasn't like, it doesn't sound like you were like, I got to go on this road trip so I can write an album. It wasn't like that.
Wasn't the goal. No, it was a life thing. Absolutely.
So build up your life skills. Being an artist, it's kind of goes hand in hand.
Well, I think substance.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the 2 times I've met you, it's like, oh, that guy has substance. Like he's not just doing this for, you know, anything other than I think it's the real thing you're doing it for. And I think it comes through your music
Thank
too.
you.
A lot of people, you know, I don't think this is as common as it used to be, but demographically they're writing music. At least not in this town I've seen. A lot of people are writing genuinely. So I think you fit in.
Thank you. Yeah. I've met a lot of cool people here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that speaks to
Unfortunately,
the scene.
no one is making money.
Yeah. well,
not yet.
I'll say the venues here are good to work with because there's so many wineries and breweries and there's some tourism here, you know. Pittsburgh is a beautiful city. Anything I say about Pittsburgh, I mean it with love, but it's not like there's not like a lot of wineries there, you know, like there's not a whole bunch of
There's a lot of bridges there, though.
There's a lot of bridges. But I think
it's a city surrounded by rivers.
It is, and I think it's the city with the most bridges in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like what, 16 or 23 bridges?
Oh, I think it's more. I think it's like actually, I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. My girlfriend would know. She did tours at the University of Pittsburgh.
I almost moved there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to move there, and it freaked me out that if it flooded, it was over.
Yeah, and it floods a lot of the time.
There's a lot of stories of floods there, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that the main reason that you didn't go?
I thought that. Yeah, I mean the other thing was, well, I just didn't know anybody. We didn't fit in, but it was definitely on the radar.
Yeah,
buying real estate down there, I was just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But the one thing that was really cool about the city, though, is that people used to come to work off the mountains.
Yeah.
And have these massive like elevator things that
the Duquesne Incline.
Yeah. And I'm like, if it went, you're dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
man.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the Mount Washington. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
They're huge elevators on the side of the mountains that they all came down on to work in the steel mills, and I guess.
Yeah, and even still, you know, people will go down and work. A lot of the mills have moved out of the city, and that's the story of the Rust Belt. You know, so and Pittsburgh is no exception. They've been rebuilding through, like healthcare and other industries and things, but the population still isn't where it was in the heyday of the steel industry. But yeah, folks still ride those down.
Yeah, you can pay a thing and. It's like a history thing, right? Historic experience.
It is, or it's a really good way to get from Mount Washington down to the south side. Yeah,
like practically.
Yeah, like if you need to get from up there, it's either that or like a really hazardous road that you can take.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's a very steep mountain.
It is
side so,
and the road is horrifying, especially if you're on a bike. To get from that mountain to.
Yeah, let's build a city here surrounded by rivers and a giant-ass mountain that we have to traverse to get to work.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's a good idea.
So was music just not a happening scene in Pittsburgh?
Well, it was. There's a lot of really good music that comes out of Pittsburgh.
There's a band, Buffalo Rose.
Oh,
you
my
ever
God.
hear of them?
They're my friends. Yeah, I know them well.
Dude, you know Mac?
Yeah, I know Mac.
Dude,
Mac Inglis.
I went to college with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we we both played the same festival a few weeks ago. Like, yeah.
Was it Blue Heron or not Blue Heron?
Not the Heron. Was it Smoked Country or Duck Creek Log Jam?
Wow.
Or one of those? Yeah, Mac and I went to school together in Rochester.
What?
And I know Buffalo Rose is like they're in Pittsburgh. And it's just dawned on me to like bring them up.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah.
No, like they're friends of mine. We've shared the stage and played Wagon Wheel together before.
Oh my God! Yeah,
we were back in like when they were a new band. They were pretty much like an all-star group in Pittsburgh.
Oh, they're incredible.
Right. So they got Shane is incredible on the guitar, and he was playing with a few other bands where he was very much a standout. And I mean, those bands were also great in their own right.
Sure.
But, he started this folk project and basically gathered his cool friends. And I met them when we were all playing a show together at a house in a living room in North Oakland, which is, like a college neighborhood,
I have to tell Mac that we did this podcast together.
Yeah, you gotta. That is wild.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
But the scene in Pittsburgh is great. I mean, there's a lot of great music, but there's a lot more places to play per capita here.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's one of the main reasons you came.
Well, it's one of the main reasons I'm staying.
There's another story.
Yeah.
You followed up.
Yeah, I followed up my girlfriend. She's doing her PhD up here at Cornell.
It's a classic story.
I know. I feel like I've met all my first friends in Ithaca were in the same situation, trailing partners.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, this place is awesome."
Yeah, and that's what happened to me, and
cool.
I was nervous. I never lived outside Allegheny County other than unless I was living in my truck. So it was a big deal for me.
Yeah, you have your own zip code.
Yeah,
it's the Josh zip code.
It's the Josh zip code. But now I'm a Finger Lakes man.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this record. So there's a song that really stood out for me, and I saw you play at the Downstairs. "This Land Is Your Land," classic song. But there was something about the way you did it that it really just felt great to listen to. So we should listen to that.
All right.
Let's feature it. We'll just listen a little bit, and then we'll pick back up.
Here we go.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, saw below me that golden
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we all grew up with this song. So what specifically about this song touched you to make you want to share this again and again and again?
Yes, the producer that I was working with, who's a good friend of mine, his name's Caleb Thomas, and he does really awesome stuff. And we had worked and jammed together in other, mediums, but had never worked together on an album. And he was like, we should do a cover, to kind of close out this album, like a classic folk cover. And frankly, we had just spent that whole summer doing a lot of protesting and a lot of political work, gathering signatures and such. And it's kind of like the quintessential song that kind of ties that all together. It's this land is your land and my land. It's not just for billionaires, it's not just for massive corporations. It's also for, working people and regular folks. So that's why we picked the song. It just felt like it was the right time to do it.
Yeah.
It's a positive message too, because there could be a lot of people. I mean, there are a lot of folks that are maybe disgruntled and are just like, what the hell, what is this? To hear a song like that, I think psychologically it just kind of like, because they say change comes from within, right? So you could kind of blame everyone else for your troubles, but like, if you know that there's people out there that have got your back, that support you, I think that's huge. So
I also think we live in a really people are not feeling like there's strong community. They want it, I think we all talk about it.
Yeah.
But when you sang this the other night at the downstairs, I felt it in the air.
Yeah, yeah. See, I was feeling that, man.
Everybody was like,
oh my God.
They're getting kind of goosebumps and just like connecting. It's like, I think people are looking for that community. Again, that sense of ownership where they live. And everybody feels like it's completely out of control right now. So that's a song that people need to hear.
Yeah. It's,
thank you, Rev.
Oh, happy to provide.
Yeah.
On that topic of the community and musician, I feel like how people and like us and a lot of people consume music is interesting because it's almost like there's like chain. It's like a chain. You know how like a chain restaurant comes in and then they put a bunch of restaurants in town out of business.
Yep.
Like Olive Garden comes in, your mom and pop, Italian restaurant can't charge that low prices because they actually have, like whatever it is, but they have to pay people to cook it and it's not like a mass produced thing, right? And so people go to the Olive Garden instead. And music is similar where people can consume whatever music that they want from anywhere. And there's not
you're going to get me started.
You're giving me an idea, actually. You're generating an idea.
Yeah. That's great.
I got to say my idea real quick. I'm going to get this down.
Let's hear it.
What if there were a place in Ithaca and it was a listening room? So like you go into this place and there's just like maybe like different tiny listening rooms all around, or like headphones all around. And like the point of going is just like so you could like listen with a few friends to something, or like kind of bring back that community of listening, but like it's a specific space to do it with great speakers.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. You pay like $10 to get in and you can spend, like 4 hours just like listening to whatever the fuck you want.
We could have like a detox room for people who just watch TikTok where they could go off for 5 minutes. It's like, we know that you can't handle this yet.
Yeah.
But you go in there and then you get your binge and then sit in here for a little while.
That's
see
a
if you can
cool
handle
spot.
it.
Like I'd go to that spot like, hey, like Friday night, like if there's maybe we don't want to go see a live band, we just want to go listen to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I actually was a part of something this one time where they had a component stereo system set up with vinyl, and they had great Merlot, and it was called Wine and Vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
And you'd sit and listen to an entire album, and you were not allowed to say anything.
Oh yes, let's do
Wow.
that.
Yeah,
let's bring it back,
awesome.
baby.
That's really cool.
And at the end, you gave critique on the music and the wine.
Wow.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was the coolest idea. And you paid like $10 to get in, and everybody at the end of the night felt a lot better about life.
This is also really great because it's sort of leading to this thing that, which is why we did this podcast again. It's like Ithaca is on the precipice of being a Nashville or being in Austin. Yeah. It really is. It just can't quite get there. But it feels like it could get there. So we're putting it to everybody listening right now. Make your own venues. You've got to be the change. You've got to start putting this shit together. No one else is going to do it. Like you look at the Grassroots Festival happening next week. Dawn of the Buffalo, they put that stuff together and they've been hosting it. And it started with like a shoestring budget with nothing. And they've seen it through, 30 years now?
Yeah.
So like...
Well, and it's grown past here.
Yeah, and it's grown past here.
It's down south. Yeah, and
that's like they started it. Like you've got to. It doesn't have to be a thing like Grassroots, but you got to start something cool, something that creates that community.
Yeah.
And let's do it.
Yeah,
come on, people.
We need
let's fucking go.
Viva la revolution.
Yeah. Viva la venue.
Yeah.
Viva la venue.
Yeah.
And that,
I just got real excited there.
That's what we're doing, right? I love it. I love it when you get excited. You get me excited. Yeah. So we're doing that right now by starting a festival. It's brand spanking new.
Yeah, New Vine, yep.
Yeah, we're in our second year doing it, and it's called Off the Vine. And you're playing at it.
I am.
Oh, yes. Great segue. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
I will. So September 17th, if you guys, want to pick up some tickets, it's going to be at Tremont State Park. It's going to be awesome. And we got 13 bands, and Rev's going to play there. And we have an amazing headliner. That will be, we've already unveiled it, but we're going to promote that as much as we can here soon. But check it out. It's, newvinerecords.com. And if you guys check it out, you can come and you can even stay overnight. So it's just one night one night. And we did it at Brews and Brats last year. You want to talk about a shoestring budget? It was kind of ridiculous. We had a sound system that was, falling apart. But there was this energy.
Yeah.
And people are looking for new music. And one of my greatest inspirations in this whole industry is to find a way to connect new artists with new audiences. And there's no mechanism for it. So the venue is a great way to do that. And this podcast and just all sorts of new ways of connecting people from a grassroots level, and it's funny they're called grassroots. So that's the point. I mean, they did it, so we should follow in their footsteps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that festival.
I can't
by
either.
the way. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast, and it's near a waterfall. So
can't beat that.
No.
It doesn't get more
good.
Ithaca than that.
No, under a night sky. So
yeah, that's going to be really cool. Definitely going to have some people come up from Pittsburgh for that too.
All right.
So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, spread the word, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we should get on to our weird segment.
Here we
always
go.
throw this in. We've been talking a lot of shop here,
Yeah.
sharing some really great insights. It's time to break things up a little bit, and we're going
What
to
do we
get into
have?
the strange candy.
Strange candy.
Strange candy.
Awesome. Yes.
Oh, God, what do we
So
have?
we pick a different strange candy every episode.
Oh, man.
And this week we have Krabby Patties.
Awesome.
You see that?
Yes.
I've definitely got those trick-or-treating as a kid before. I've seen these.
Really?
Yeah,
so
they come like
there's a history
individually
behind Krabby Patties? I mean, only as long as SpongeBob has been around.
Yeah, they're
I suppose.
individually wrapped. Yeah, I've seen these.
Oh my gosh.
God. Are you kidding me?
That doesn't look... That looks like a piece of plastic.
Yeah, it is a piece of plastic
Let me
here.
Oh, you're dropping them on the ground.
All right, so
I have a feeling you could leave this somewhere on the ground and it would be there in 10,000 years.
I got a weird thing in my head about every time we buy something, it's going to last longer than us.
Yeah.
Like every time you buy like a bag of bread, like the wrapper's going to outlast you on Earth.
Oh my God.
It will.
So this is, again, like, we never force our guests to try this strange candy, but you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
I'm
Leave comments.
a little concerned.
Oh, man, the texture is very strange.
A little concerned about this Krabby Patty gummy thing.
Do we eat it like a burger like this?
I
or do
think
we
so.
Take it apart, maybe. Go one at a time.
See if the bun
I'm
tastes
gonna eat the
different.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Just one giant.
All right, here we go.
That doesn't feel natural.
Mm-mm.
I
I took a bite like a burger.
How'd it go?
Here's teeth marks.
It's good. There's some like bubble gum flavor in there.
This is not how a real
It chews
Krabby Patty
harder
tastes
than I
like.
thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel crabby.
This was a one and done for me.
Yeah. Sorry, Krabby Patties.
This is a bad idea.
Gotta love the wrapper though.
Well, there's too many pieces. Look, there's a plastic thing
Yeah.
and the wrapper.
So
Okay.
this is so funny.
What's the next one?
This is really weird. This is Smarties squeeze candy.
Oh my gosh.
You can squeeze it and eat it.
So, have you tried this yet? This hasn't been tested.
So we have some spoon.
Oh, we have
This
spoons.
is questionable at best.
Okay.
It looks like it could be toothpaste or what did you say it was earlier? Like
Wood filler.
wood filler,
Acrylic paint.
acrylic paint.
Yeah. It says it's water soluble, but I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Oh, this is just
Dude, it's
not
literally like a
okay.
can of caulk, like when you're painting.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
We could probably put it in a caulk gun and it would work.
So
Or
whoever,
like that ointment that you get when you got a poison ivy.
oh yeah, yep.
All right.
I guess I'll be the guinea pig
Right,
for
right.
this.
Put it right in front of the camera here so people can
Yeah.
see the glory. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh no.
That looks.
Oh no. It looks
doesn't
like
look
Ronald.
edible.
It looks like Ronald McDonald is taking a shit. It's what it looks like.
Oh my goodness.
Have it your way today. Wait. Ronald needs to knock off the juice.
This is too
or
much.
something.
I like how you put a ton on your spoon too.
Wait. Either that or it looks like denture cream.
You want to try some?
Denture cream, yeah.
I would not recommend this.
This is like a good.
I'm
Here.
just gonna have a
Pass
little
you a
bit.
spoon.
All right. I feel like I'm freebasing right now.
Oh no, I'm not finishing this.
All right.
All right.
This is bad.
Really? How do they market this?
It's just a lot of sugar.
Interesting.
Can you imagine the commercial for this thing?
I think there's no commercial for it because it's so problematic.
Oh my God.
It's paste.
Oh
yeah.
It's just wrong on so many levels.
Sorry, Rev.
It tastes kind of like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That was not
So I'd say so far of all the candies we've tested here, this is the shittiest candy we've tried.
Yeah. We should start testing other things.
I'm glad you guys saved it for me.
I feel like my teeth are going to be red for the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can test like steak. Like that would
Can we try that next week?
That would be a better option.
I just need our morale lifted from this.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't taste like Smarties. It's supposed to be Smarties.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It is nothing like Smarties.
Not at all.
So my guess is that there were Smarties going bad in a factory, and they're like, we have to save this patch of Smarties.
This byproduct.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah. I mean, you can win in that arrangement like Milk Duds.
Yeah.
Right? They were like
Milk
chocolate.
Duds are cool. Yeah.
Sure.
Like that.
But this was not a win.
Let's get back. Let's
get
get back
to
the music
music
stuff. We hope you all enjoyed the strange candy segment. But
so
go ahead, John.
I want to bring up the main topic. This is going to be in the title of this, other than your name, which is, I think, the kind of theme for the show we want to talk about, just intersperse it from here on, is confidence. And confidence is a weird thing. Confidence in music, I think, in artistry can be pretty touchy.
Mm-hmm.
So that positivity, that confidence, you seem to be a pretty confident guy.
Thank you.
I'm
glad somebody thinks so.
I think a lot of us hide our insecurities, but how do you think that could affect you? Insecurity versus confidence.
Yeah, I definitely went through, when I was younger, insecurity about singing, about writing music. My first songs, I felt like these suck, I don't want to play these. And I was scared to even like sing in front of people. I was like deathly afraid. I wouldn't even sing like when that time between when the school bus would drop me off and my parents got home from work.
Okay.
I would like sing my heart out in the house before they got home.
Okay.
But when they got home, like they couldn't know. So I just stopped singing. Yeah.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. Now it's time for swim practice.
So what tipped it for you? What was that first experience where you're like, I nailed that?
Well, it was definitely not the first show that I played because I got like a really bad sore throat for the first show that I made, which made me even more afraid of like singing in front of people. Mm-hmm. And I think it took some time, but I think after building up some confidence at open mics. Oh, you know what it was? I think in high school we had a talent show for who got to be prom king, and now they've opened it up to be the prom royalty or whatever it is,
okay.
So it's open to anyone to join. But at the time, it was just like the prom king, essentially, competition. And I got all my friends together and we played some music and people went crazy. We played an original song and I was like, wow, hell yeah. Like I could legit do this.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
Confidence builder.
It was a huge confidence builder. And from then forward, I already knew that I wanted to play music more than I wanted to be an athlete. So I had no interest in playing sports in college. It's not like I had D1 recruiters hitting me up, but I didn't want to try for a club team or anything like that, or go to a smaller school. I wanted to play music.
Okay.
So then I got to hit the ground running as soon as I got there.
So do you feel, have you ever been around somebody who's struggling with that confidence?
Oh my gosh.
In music?
Yeah. You ever been to an open mic night?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me. Like this is a great discussion, by the way. It's like, I can only speak from my experience. Growing up, I was fortunate that I had support from my parents, and my dad is an accomplished piano player and a composer. So I didn't have to hide anything. I didn't feel insecure about it from the start. It was like, totally do this thing. And so it's tough for me to relate sometimes when someone is struggling with their confidence as an artist. But I would add to that whole thing, to help with your confidence as an artist is to be well rehearsed and well practiced and to be well prepared.
That's good. I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
In a second,
and if you are not doing that, and you're like, why am I struggling with my confidence?
Oh yeah.
It's because you're not doing your goddamn homework.
Yeah.
And that's just, there's no way around it. So
Right.
the best way to be confident is to be prepared and to feel like you have been practiced and mastered your instrument. Yeah.
Well, and that takes time.
It takes a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It always kind of rubs me funny when people get jealous or angry about something that you do well, or maybe you're successful in, as if maybe they didn't have the opportunity to possibly do the same. Because and there's natural talent, and that's a thing.
Of course.
Like the 8-year-olds who can just shred guitar.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
This is why I hate Instagram. It's like, what the literal
Because you'd never
fuck?
know about these 8-year-olds and you'd feel fine.
Yeah, I'm done with this. Like,
I know. And then you'll see
that'll shred your confidence. Just watch Instagram 8-year-old guitar players.
Yeah, or like knock 'em dead vocalists. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
They just
yeah.
got these crazy ranges. But
Yeah.
but what you bring, or what I always think about when I see that musician who is, that person is better than me at my instrument, or that person has a better vocal range, I'm cool with it. You know, it took me a long time to be cool with it, but now I'm like, I am a songwriter. I'm the only one who can write this song that I just wrote, and I'm providing that.
That's right.
Ooh, the antidote for a lack of confidence is in you just like emphasizing your originality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I feel good about these songs.
So no one can sing this song as bad as I can.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Now you're getting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or as good.
Yeah.
We talked about social media a bit with the whole 8-year-olds on Instagram. So like, how do you, because it's another running theme that we kind of go in and out of here. And so tell us a bit about how you use social media in this crazy modern day world that we're in.
Yeah, it's tough. Social media is tough, having to like keep up an appearance as an artist. I don't remember who said, I think a friend was over at our place last night, and he said, like, if you're an artist, you're a content creator, and you have to push, right? I know. And you have to push content to people because that's how they're receiving content.
Yeah.
And people are, a lot of the time, the way they're discovering art is not through like a dedicated listening room, unfortunately, or even like a venue. It's mostly through social media. So you have to keep up some kind of presence there and engage with people in some way.
You're onto something now. How do we create that experience, which it's being done with a lot of festivals, but how can you create that during the week experience that pulls people away from social media, where it's like you have to compete against that. Basically, the antidote is like, we want to get people off of that. And so you create these other experiences that are just better.
They call that conversion.
Conversion. Okay.
In web speak.
Okay.
So it's a conversion when someone sees an ad and then they come to your website and then they buy a t-shirt. So that's a conversion. So
Getting them to do that.
right. So for us, it's them seeing something that they liked about you, then them reading the copy and going, oh, he's going to play, them showing up, and then them liking you, and then them following you or possibly buying something from you. So that kind of conversion is something we have to learn how to do better as artists.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll let
it
you know
is.
if I figure it out.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there. I think
So
my
much
least
noise.
favorite video, because I doom scroll. I definitely like the Instagram, reels. And the one that kills me is always some weird gimmicky guy on the drums doing some crazy dumb thing that no one cares about. Maybe it's kind of cool, but it's like, and 438,000 likes. It's like, what the literal crap is that?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're writing songs. You got your heart on a sleeve. You're out singing your heart out. You're recording and spending money, and no one can see that.
Yeah.
You got 24 likes.
Right.
Yeah.
Except out of like your friend circle.
Yeah, and one of them's your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my mom's not active on social media, but thankfully.
Yeah.
But like my sister can play that role of the pity
Right.
like, or my girlfriend or whoever it might
So
be.
does that work against your confidence?
Honestly, the way I view social media is I just give it my best go. You know what I mean? There are people that have made a career off of being really good at social media and being at least pretty good at music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be me. I don't have that kind of like in touchness with the next thing that's because social media changes like by the day, right? And the thing that's trending is always changing.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to keep up with that, but I have a lot of respect for the people that do. You know, I actually have a really good friend who found a lot of like, pretty much jump-started her own music career through getting big on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know? And that's really awesome. And it works for some people, but it's probably not going to be me. So I just have to have some kind of presence so that if people hear Rev Ezra somewhere, you know, then they have somewhere else to look and they can see that I'm like a real person.
I got a big question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
That being said, would you be satisfied with a smaller audience than having great success on TikTok and becoming a slave to something like the guy who keeps dancing on TikTok? You know who I'm talking about? The Zeke guy who's doing like the slide dance thing. He's like a country guy with the boots, and he's like,
there's a lot of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's super famous right now, but that's all he's ever going to be known for.
A meme.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you rather be happy in a smaller audience than something like that?
Yes, I would. But I also think that there are ways to be that person and then to capitalize on it, you know, and like maybe not for like cowboy boots dancing guy, but like
that's a great way to call him. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm familiar with the cowboy boots guy.
You'll see it.
Sure.
Okay, I'm sure I will. Probably now that my phone has heard me talk.
Definitely gonna come up now.
Yeah, it'll be up tonight. But I think that, you know, there are people who put music forward in a way on social media, and then they use that as a way to springboard themselves in a sustainable music career.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that's exactly what my friend did. She now plays harp at weddings professionally, and it totally worked for her, you know? And I think that's badass.
That's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. But for me personally, I would be much happier with a smaller, engaged audience who's going to like really listen to the music and, you know, pay attention.
What if that meant you worked a side job the rest of your life as an artist?
Asking the big questions.
I am. This is what I'm
John's
here for.
just going after it.
Yeah.
You see, Fish does all the hard work, and then I come and sit down and go, so, do you believe in God?
Oh,
We're really
man.
getting into it.
Yeah, no.
We should get to another song though too.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah. I'd like to answer this. So I think if I have, as long as that job allows me to tour and like give music my all, like I think what I would ideally get to is for music to be able to be like a primary thing. You know what I mean? Because right now I spend more time on my job than I do playing music, and you know, my job is fine. You know what I mean? I don't dislike it, but I like music a lot more.
Yeah.
So, but if I needed to work to supplement music, and I had an engaged, like a truly engaged, you know, I get following is a weird way to say it, but like, you know,
No, it's true.
yeah, like an audience, you know, then I would do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'd be happy with
speaking about music you love, we want to get to another song.
Yeah, this is called Wanted Man. This one stood out to me as well. And yeah, let's dive right in, and then we'll come back.
I'm a wanted man. I wander and I roam. Some folks don't understand and ask me where I go. I never know. I take the desert roads where no one knows my name. I'm free when I'm not home. So goddamn, belong man, because I can't get locked back up. I've lived that life before, and those days were enough to know I don't want more.
Tell us about Wanted Man.
Yeah, so that one was one of the funnest ones to do in the studio. That one, the producer that I worked with, who's my good friend Caleb Thomas, he does incredible work. And he had this kind of like piano progression, and it was just the verse at that time. And he was playing it, and he's like, what do you think? Do you think we could write a song out of this? And I loved the progression, and we took it and ran with it.
Okay.
And kind of went with like a Western theme because it's like a cinematic sounding song.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the direction that we took. And then the law being a metaphor for essentially the real world that we've been talking about. Yeah. The having to work the job to make things work, And it's like, as opposed to being on the road, which is the sense of freedom, and
I feel like this could become the New Vine podcast theme song.
Nice.
Wanted man.
Yeah.
Wanted man.
Yeah.
Wanted artists. I don't know.
Yeah, it very much fits the theme of oh my gosh. I mean, like half the songs on that album fit the theme of feeling tied down by this
pressed.
Yeah, pressed because of this need to do.
I mean, that's a
other thing.
Huge vibe here. I mean, the artists all talk about this.
Yeah.
And how hard it is to just be a creative person in the world today and the price that you pay.
Yeah.
So
it's brutal because then also you're sacrificing all of your evenings and weekends and
and like I talk to people who have families and wonder how they do it. I mean, I've had a family, I have 4 kids, so it's definitely made an impact on that as well. So
how do you make it work?
Well, basically being intentional with relationships and scheduling time. I've had to create boundaries and not talk to people at certain periods of time and make sure I'm not in the studio. And what's funny? I find myself more creative when I actually do that. But it is a challenge. It is a challenge because I feel like I'm creative all the time and I just have that itch. Yeah. But I value relationships more than I value music.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Which is hard to do. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell if that's true because it does seem a little out of balance at times, but so
well, that's another interesting
subject
we could go down. But
Fish is going to pull us out of that.
We're going to do
the fisherman. He fishes us out. He fishes us
out of trouble.
Yeah, out of trouble and out of the weeds.
Yes. So we're going to do New Vine Reacts.
Okay.
New Vine Reacts. We'll get on that. This is about, and we were talking about TikTok before.
Oh, boy.
This is the headline. Rubber ducky watches that don't tell time clock in the TikTok views. Kevin Bertolero has a disdain for time. How many times do you look at a clock or look at time? How many times are you happy? Bertolero says. When was the last time you were like, oh, sick, it's 10:30 a.m. Awesome. I don't know. When was the last time?
Depends what I was going to happen at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, I feel like this article is like really biased.
Yeah, maybe if there's something really exciting at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
Like
then you'd be excited about the time.
Right.
Yeah.
This dude, I don't know. That's one of the reasons the 30-year-old. Oh, there you go. Has been making watches that don't tell time. Yeah, they're meant to be worn like a traditional watch.
I think the guy needs to go back to working at the MCI phone center for collections.
Except you won't see a clock face when checking your wrist. Instead, you'll find a tiny 3D printed pool, like a swimming pool, with magnetic duckies and bubbles.
For real?
After leaving a stressful job at a plant-based yogurt startup, Bertolero wanted to engage with his child self. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
He was using all sorts of strategies to work through childhood trauma at the time. I think all of us are low-key traumatized. You can't not be living in modern society to some degree.
I love your face.
Yeah, fair
We're
enough.
all traumatized.
Fair enough.
That's it. We're all screwed. He said when people's traumas flare up, they use shopping, socializing, or community involvement to mitigate discomfort.
Okay.
Bertolero found another option: cute things.
The
idea for watches that don't tell time came to him in a state of semi-sleep. A watch that's sleek like an Apple Watch, but fun and interactive like Legos. Little rubber duckies popped into his mind as something indisputably cute. He knew he wanted to make them tiny because the tinier something is, the cuter it is, the more people love it.
So Was he on like taking LSD when he did? Is this
Psilocybin?
That's not in the article.
okay?
Interesting.
Well, you know what's funny? There's an actual phenomenon in Japan called Hello Kitty.
Oh yeah.
And it's I forgot what the word that they used was, but it's the shape of the face
Yeah.
that apparently psychologically they've done like studies on this thing and why it's so crazy. Like people are attracted to baby faces.
Yeah.
And I guess the creator made Hello Kitty kind of look like a baby face. And so that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like cute things sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, there's that huge market for those collectible action figures with the funk pops, Funko
No,
Pops.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
know
mean?
what you're
that's
talking about.
right.
There's
Yeah.
a huge market for those because
Mhm.
they're like a movie that you like, but it's like cute or whatever.
And
Yeah.
they're collectibles. People spend a lot of money to get some of those.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see it. You know, I can see if you're like really into, if you're a huge fan of a series and you want to get those. But the watch is a little more interesting to me because for me, like I've actually been saying this a lot in the past week because, you know, work's been crazy and I've been practicing a lot for shows coming up and travel and everything, you know. And every time I look at my watch, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, more time has passed than I wanted it to.
So what you're saying is you're confirming this guy's idea.
I'm
little bit.
confirming the anxiety, but I also need the watch to
All right.
keep me from drifting ever and ever away.
So maybe you should buy one of these and see how it works for you.
I would have to put it on top of my regular
Yeah.
watch.
It's a strange world out there. that's what I'm getting from
and
this.
this has been New Vine Reacts.
New Vine Reacts.
Thank you.
It's just strange. It's just strange.
It is. We got strange candies and strange news.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he call it a bracelet if it doesn't tell time?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think he's trying to market it as a watch
Gotcha.
that doesn't tell time because that makes it like more interesting.
Gotcha.
Is he watching the watch or is the duck watching him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Oh God, where are we going? Okay. Let's get back on track.
Dave will edit this later.
Now I gotta leave it in.
He never lets us take anything out.
So we're sort of getting to the close of this just this wonderful time that we've had and this really in-depth discussion. A couple more things that we want to ask you, and this is something we've been posing to a lot of the artists.
Yeah.
What do you do in your day-to-day to remain productive as an artist?
I have to schedule myself time. And we're talking about the watches and everything, and we're talking about how every time I look at my wrist, I get a little bit stressed out. But I have to make sure that I'm giving myself the time, not just to like rehearse and practice with bands and things, but to allow myself to be creative. You know, I'm like a social guy. I like to be out a lot, but sometimes it's best to take one of those free nights that I have and just write some music, you know, spend it with my instrument and get better at it or write something. So that's,
do you procrastinate ever?
I do. I've gotten a lot better at it through the years.
Okay.
So I'm a lot more measured.
How do you
about
kill
when I
that
do now.
procrastination?
Ooh, just remember how it's burned me before in the past, you know? I mean, it's pretty complicated how I'm a big to-do list person. I'm pretty thorough about to-do lists, and I'm very methodical about, you know, checking them off, and it wasn't always that way, but that keeps me on it. And I do the same for music too. Like I'll on a Saturday morning, I'll wake up and be like, okay, on my checklist is I want to spend some time with music and I want to run. And when I run, I'm thinking about music. I'm listening to music that inspires me, and I'm kind of like imagining, you know, how what I'm hearing could, you know, inspire the next song or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Does it hit you or strike you sometimes, and other times it's just not there?
Yeah, absolutely. There are usually when it hits me, it's when I really should be doing something else. Like it's not a free night. I have work tomorrow at 8 or 9 in the morning, but I am writing a song and it's getting really late.
Yeah.
But I just have to be okay with that.
That's always when it happens to me. And it's always when I'm working on a project that I don't like working on.
Yeah.
And that never happens. I like all the projects here at New Vine. But no, technically I'll be working on something and I'll open up another session and I'm just like, I want to work on this right now. And I love that. I love that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah.
When you realize like tomorrow might suck a little bit because it's so late right now and there are other things I should be doing, but it's like, whatever. That's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah, and sometimes tomorrow it is a problem.
Yeah.
When you stay up that late working on something. But,
yeah, absolutely. You feel it the next day, but it's worth it, I think.
Totally. Cool. Yeah. So
I'm
used to you reeling me out at this point, and I'm looking at you.
No, I know. I'm just imagining that feeling of like the late nights and rolling into the next day, and it's making me tired.
Rolling out of bed the next day,
and it's like, why would you do that to yourself? God, no.
Because I love it. I mean, I can count on both hands. I don't love it. Many times over, I've worked through the night and heard the birds chirping the next morning.
Oh, so stressful.
I've done it so many times.
Oh yeah, I hate
that. Is the worst feeling.
It is kind of, but
I'm not a fan of that.
I know.
I try to avoid it.
Yeah, I don't do it I don't do it like I used to.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so many feelings right now. Very complicated.
Are you a morning person?
Well, I'm an everything person. So.
I was just imagine fish in the morning like in a bird bath, just like just like, you just seem like a morning person to me.
I can be. That's the thing. Like, so my life is very centered around whether or not I have structure or not. So if I have to be somewhere at 8 a.m., I'm up and I'm ready to be there at 8 a.m. But if I don't have anything, I'll probably sleep a little later. So, but I can turn it on and off like that, and I don't know how many people can do that, but I definitely can.
Your brain's telling
my brain just goes on, or it's like something I've even been working on. It's like it's either black. Some things are just black or white. It's like 100% or not. It's sort of where the passion comes from. I think people that are extremely passionate about things may be that way.
True.
But yeah, when I'm structured, boom, I'm there. I'm up. I'm doing it. But if I don't have to be, then I'm not. So.
My eyes pop open at 8 a.m. every morning now.
Oh wow!
Without even thinking about it. My dad was like that.
Yeah.
Except he would be like 4 a.m. My mom gets up at 3 a.m.
Oh man!
I can't call her past 5 o'clock because she's in bed. Anyway, that's another thing.
I am way more likely to go to bed at any of those times than I am to wake up at those times.
I don't know. It's just like you get older, I guess it happens.
But what you're saying is that scheduling the time is very important. You have to schedule it out.
I have to allow it. Yeah, either schedule it or allow it to be. So I'll schedule those like Saturday morning writing sessions where
cool.
The world is a little quieter, and I just drink like a lot of coffee and kind of like wake up, and I don't have the job, like there's not people that need stuff from me immediately. You know what I mean? So I'll the Sundays are great for that. Go on a jog in the morning.
I got a question
write
for
some
you.
Music.
What's a memorable concert that you've attended?
Oh man, wow. Memorable in what way? Like blew me out of the water musically, or was like super like integral to me as a musician?
You pick.
Ooh, okay.
Something memorable.
Can I do 2 of them because they're really different?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the first one was the one that kind of like sticks with me is I was at Bonnaroo and I saw Childish Gambino.
Wow.
And he's one guy, you know what I mean? And there were like 100,000 people at this festival who all had like he was the headliner of the night, right? So everyone was there pretty much, but like these are people from all over the country, all over the world, and every one of us is like biologically like extremely, similar, you know what I mean? And we're all paying attention to like that guy in particular. That to me was very weird, like that's not something that I even strive for.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like I had like a moment during that show because of course he had like backing musicians and all this, right? Like everyone does. But it was just remembering that those uber famous people are also human is, you know what I mean? Like, and I had a similar moment at another Bonnaroo with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm like, those are just some dudes. You know what I mean?
They're
Like
just some dudes,
they
man.
are. Like that's just a guy. He's just some guy.
Yeah.
But like
I don't think Flea is a man though.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that guy.
No, that's a great. Oh man, that gets into some cool stuff because as an art, that whole fame thing, and right, it's like, and I get fascinated by that too. Whenever I go to a concert, that's really big, and I'm like, all of these people are here for this one act. Yeah, they're all here for this act, and it's like, I've always struggled with the idea of fandom. Like, I'm a fan of some things like Zelda and all that, but some people are just nuts. Yeah, they will follow bands around. Yeah, and it's not in my blood. It's not something that I could do. I can't give that much energy to something else like that. Maybe
you're busy creating,
ego thing. Right? Yeah, because I'm also a creative, I guess. Yeah. Right? So it's an ego thing maybe for me where it's like I can't do that.
Well,
for
that is a
else.
thing. I mean, I've had to force myself to really learn how to listen to other artists. Yeah. And other producers. Always kind of maybe had a secret fear that I didn't want to hear that they were better. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get that with other like artists in my realm. I sometimes feel that
when you know that they're almost too close to what you're doing, and it's almost like I don't want to hear this.
There's some artists who I don't even want to like say their names out loud, but when I listen to them, I'm like, damn. I'm like, you beat me to that song, and it's really, really good. But it's almost hard to listen to because I'm like,
you can't compare. That's the downfall too. You get yourself in trouble.
It's true.
I was talking to someone earlier, and we were watching a concert, and great jazz at the Argos Inn. Awesome. But and it was just this whole idea of like man, those guys are great. Yep. And I was just like, no, you can't compare yourself to that. Like if you start chasing what that guy's doing, like there's a healthy amount of that. Yeah. Maybe it makes you want to practice more. But if you start thinking like, oh, I'm not there, your self-doubt's going to creep in.
Well,
like,
do what
you
thing.
do.
The
confidence,
thing.
right? Yeah. Do what you do. Practice what you want to practice to get better. But like some people are just going to be, there's always going to be people better than you. Yeah. There's always going to be people worse than you.
I want to pinch in on this a little bit more.
Yeah.
So do you think that your fascination had more to do with the fame than your appreciation of the music?
Oh my God. I mean, it was this show was amazing. Like it was so well written, and the dancing and the choreography and the music all together was in so well orchestrated. Yeah. And so for me, it was just like the entire experience that this guy, of course he has a team, but that this guy created for these 100,000 or more people was incredible.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. And then I think the other concert that I wanted to mention that is similar in this way was seeing the Avett Brothers the first time. And I saw them at like a small stadium in Pittsburgh. But it was the first time, I didn't grow up knowing a lot of that like type of music. My dad listened to like country music, right? And that's kind of what he was into. But like, those artists, they're playing, it's basically like pop rock with a Southern accent, right?
Yeah. Yep, it is.
But like I see the Avett Brothers, I'm like, these are just, again, I think for me, it's just the remembering that those guys are like human and pretty much the same, you know what I mean? Like biologically at least, like pretty much. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And those are two guys with a guitar and a banjo singing into the same mic, and they're singing Murder in the City, and that's the song. It's an incredible song. And everyone is paying like such close attention to them, and they're like an acoustic act, and like it's possible.
It's amazing you bring that up. I mean, that from a young age, going to concerts, looking at people on a stage, that is the thing that pushed me. It wasn't the girls.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of.
It's a little bit. It was.
Right.
But I got to be honest, like the biggest thing for me was like, I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do that. I want to be that. Yeah. I want to be there doing that. Yeah. And it's not because they're all looking at me. I'm looking at that and I'm going, I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on up there?
It's not about like the people. It's like it's about the.
It's hard to describe the feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like they're having a blast. You know what I mean? But it's like a flow state too. You know, like they're so in the zone. So you know, it's the same with the Avett Brothers, Childish Gambino, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, all of these just almost like spiritual experiences where I have this moment.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Rage actually played a concert recently, or they've been playing again, like the first concert in like 11 years or something like that. You hear about that?
I did hear about that.
Yeah. I just came to mind because it's been happening.
Yeah, which is awesome. You know?
They're back at it.
Yeah, and playing up here, right? Too.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I think that might be the case.
They're definitely capitalizing. I have a quick thing about Rage because it's really funny to me. Well, but I mean, their music's just great.
Yeah,
their music is adrenaline filled. It's some of the best hard rock.
Very
stuff
innovative too, guitar stuff.
Innovative stuff.
And the lyrics, come on.
The lyrics are amazing. The whole incredible anarchy stuff. Yeah, but it's really funny to me that they. They practice capitalism using the message of anarchy.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's really just, it might not be obvious to some people, but I just like pointing that out.
I think that's most musicians though, man. We talk about that.
Rev, we have this, John said this amazing thing the other podcast.
We need to start a documentary about band gangs knocking each other out, or even like a mockumentary. Yeah, taking each other out for festival slots.
Oh,
yeah, because John made the comment that like bands, a lot of bands will talk about peace and love in their music.
They're all hippies,
but when you come for their festival slot, they're not peace and love anymore.
Oh damn no! No, they'll take you out.
It's just so funny, and obviously it's hyperbole a little bit, but maybe not.
No, but they're playing in Buffalo, by the way. I'm like,
are they? Rage is playing Buffalo.
Sure. Okay, pretty sure. We should all go.
That would be very cool.
All right, so
we got another song.
We do have another song. Before we get to that last song though, because this is going to be like kind of the last bit, and then we'll wrap up. What's next for you? Tell us what's coming up and what you have in store.
Yeah, so I'm playing some shows. I cannot wait for the festival with you guys. September 17th.
Yep.
Got it marked on my calendar.
We are ready.
Also my anniversary with my girlfriend, who's so who's so graciously. I remember when Rue reached out to me about playing that. I was like, oh man, that's an important day to me, and I went to her. And I was like, hey, like, I just got asked to play this festival. Man. I would really love to play this festival, but like, is that all right with you if we celebrate a different time? And she was like, oh, you got to do it. Like that sounds like such a dope opportunity. So,
well, we're super honored.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's really kind of you.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, exactly. So that's what's next.
Okay.
And then I have an album. So I already had an album release show here in Ithaca, which was at the Downstairs, which is an awesome space where Leo and the Single Mayday and I played. But
actually, I'm taken. But
that's all right. But anyway, so I had that down in Ithaca already, but then I wanted to have a release celebration in Pittsburgh as well, and have my friends and family come.
Awesome.
So that's on August 6th at Club Cafe in Pittsburgh.
All right. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got one more song, and then we're going to kind of round this episode up.
Awesome.
Rev, why don't you pick a song from your latest record that we have not played yet? So we did This Land Is Your Land, and we did Wanted Man.
It's tough to pick a fave, but I think it would have to be These Days, just based on the conversation that we've been having. It's the title track of the album. And it's about that feeling of stuckness, that feeling of like, oh man, I wish I could just break free and be a road tripper all the time. But I need to do these things, and that's what the song's about. I think it fits what we've been discussing. So.
Man.
So here it is, These Days.
These Days.
Can't say yes so easy, and I can't say no. I'll stay in the gray now, honey, I'm the middleman, I suppose.
I gotta tell you, I get goosebumps when I hear your music. I mean, I don't say it to everybody, but I mean, we're listening to it on the phone in here, and yes, you are seeing behind the curtain right now. But your voice, I love vocalists, like when you hear them talk, and then they just get up and they open their mouth, and it's like a totally different person.
Yeah, I've been told that. Yeah,
yeah, and it always blows my mind when that happens, and you just take on something that's more than music. It's got like spirit behind it, and it's powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that means so much. You know, it really does. And you guys are such versed musicians yourselves that see and create and make so much music. So that means a lot.
Yeah,
you came to the right spot, man. Ithaca, New York, definitely has got a vibe, and this is the kind of stuff people are really into around here. So it's a good scene. What
a community, man! It's such a good community. It's like all the good stuff about Pittsburgh, plus more people who want that too.
Yeah,
and waterfalls.
It's on and waterfalls.
Yeah.
It's on the rise. Speaking of, if you are listening to this podcast and have never followed us before, please subscribe. Mm-hmm. We are on Apple, and we are on Spotify, and we're on the big YouTube. So subscribe there and tell your friends, because if you're a musician, this is for you. If you're struggling and you know other people that are going through the process of being a musician and going through life and they need a little encouragement, we encourage you to share this, because we've been told, we've got some emails coming in, and some of you out there have reached out, and we are really appreciative of the encouragement we get back from you, saying we're encouraging you. So make sure you do that. And also know that New Vine Records is a not-for-profit organization. Every dime we get goes toward the artist. It's there for new projects. It's there for promotions. It's there for all sorts of stuff for the artist. So go to newvinerecords.com and go to the donate button and go ahead and give us some cash, because we'll give it right to the artist. So,
worth it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Rev.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.